welcome back to the Anything Goes with Jackson Neill podcast here on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning back in. Today I have a special episode, my interview with Jack Bruno. The punk rapper, as he's described, just got off tour with Juice WRLD, 6ix9ine, Wiz Khalifa, and Rae Sremmurd on all different tours he did over the summer and a little bit into the fall here. He has his debut solo album coming out, mainly produced by Grammy-winning producer Hit Boy. He has songs with Playboi Carti, Famous Dex, and Smokepurpp, and they're all really, really good. He's really into fashion, and he's just an up-and-coming artist who I'm really, really happy I got a chance to talk with. Jack Bruno is one of those guys you have to watch out for because he is making music that you have never heard something like, and here's my conversation that I had with him. All right, so you just recently got off tour. What was that like?
It was great, like touring, it's like non-stop action, so it's like you move really fast, and like I love that, like I love being active and like doing stuff like that, and like like I did some days with Juice WRLD, some shows with 6ix9ine. Both of those like acts are like, they're very different, but they're both fun to share the stage with, because it's like they've got like young fans that are like eager to find new music, so it's like for like as an act that's like supporting and stuff, it's like really fun because people are like really excited to check you out and stuff. But it was fun, it was like a non-stop like party.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you opened up dates for Wiz Khalifa, Rae Sremmurd. You mentioned Juice WRLD and 6ix9ine there. It must have been like a crazy stretch for you there, going all over the U.S. and in Europe, right?
Yeah, it was intense. We literally went everywhere, and we were on tour with 6ix9ine in Europe. Then we went back. We came back to America, did some days with Juice WRLD, and then right after that we went out with Wiz and Rae Sremmurd and stuff, and like that was crazy too. It was like this huge like summer like barbecue crazy vibe where we were playing these, I was playing these massive venues. It was awesome, man. It was really a good time.
Mm-hmm. And I want to touch on a little bit some of your recent releases. One of your more recent ones was Siggy Said Light with Playboi Carti. How did that track come together?
That track was I wrote the original like track like over, I think like around a year ago, and let me see, like I wrote the original track like a year ago. It was one of the first things I did when I met Hit Boy, and from there like we kind of like me and Playboi Carti met, and like I was talking with him about like doing a song together and stuff, and I don't know, that was like a song. As soon as I wrote that, like it was actually like Hit Boy was like really interested by it because it was like different. I think he was like interested in the way like that I was like really I kind of take my time and really write shit, rather than just get in the booth and just rap, which is not like the normal thing, So I don't know. It's kind of like, but like there's a little bit of just whatever like some certain songs like make me think of certain artists for, like some songs are right, I'd be like, oh, that'd be cool to have Dex on, or like this would be cool, like to get so and so on, and then it's like a mixture of that, and then like I'll play the music for those artists, and like if they like gravitate more towards one song that like I didn't think of, then like I always go for that, because I don't know. I think when someone's like excited about a song or like feels it more, they're gonna do a better job on it, and like naturally. And I think that's like a key. That's definitely key. Like you want everyone to be really on the same page and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like whatever song you're doing, especially and artists you have on there, it feels like there's that energy between you and them that you both really want to make this track together, and that I feel like there's no kind of wasted collaborations. That everything kind of has a meaning and purpose behind it.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've heard you've been described as a punk rapper. What exactly is that? That's kind of a new thing for me.
You know, I think that is just like something that I don't really know. Like it's funny. Like I think I get described that because I think my background is like being in different punk bands, and that was sort of like what like my that's my background like musically and stuff. And I think that I am kind of like I'm an out there person, so I'm like kind of really like, you know, I mean sometimes, not always like this, but like I have like a side to me that's just really like out there and loud and like does whatever. And I think like that sort of attitude is the thing that kind of, I don't know, comes across in my music and stuff sometimes. Like I'm not really sure, honestly. Like I think that's something that like people kind of you know, say about me rather than like what I describe myself as.
So something you mentioned a little bit before, that's one thing I really wanted to ask you about. You've worked with top level producers. You've mentioned Hit Boy before, but you've also worked with Don Cannon, DJ Camper. What's it like to work with these top level producers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just cool, like working with, like when you're working with people that are like intense and like super creative, it just makes you want to do better. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a good energy and a good like spirit in the studio when you're working with people that have done like, some of your favorite records. Like it's weird, like it's like I don't really think about that too much when I'm in the studio. Otherwise, I won't be able to be creative at all. I'll just be like, oh my god, like what am I doing? This is crazy. This is I'm with blah blah blah. But like, for the most part, like all those guys you were mentioning, like Camper, Cannon, Hit Boy, all of them are really successful because they're positive and they're like really high energy and smart guys. So like and they just come up with cool ideas, like they're coming up with cool ideas. It just pushes me as an artist to really like come up with some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, just being able to feel free to be creative and have that good energy in the studio, I'd imagine that's basically half the battle right there in terms of creating a good song.
Oh, it's so crucial, like creating the energy in the studio and like, I don't know, just like even like the experiences, like that's what it's funny, like lately I've been kind of just trying to like put myself in weird situations in my life because I know it's gonna like bring out different songs and stuff. And like so it's like the same thing in the studio. Like if you set yourself up in a good situation, it's gonna be so much easier and so much like more like it's a natural thing then.
Mm-hmm. So you're almost trying to like do different things in your life, like put yourself into new experiences so that could inspire you, because if you do the same thing, it's not going to create anything new, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm kind of like, I think certain things they'll, to the most part, like it's like the same similar feelings and stuff, and there's a lot of things that have similarities, but like the lyrics, like I'll be writing like sometimes I'll just be at like a party and someone will say something weird, or I'll say something weird and I'll like be like, what the hell am I even talking about, and I'll write that like right in my phone notes, and it will end up being like, one lyric that ends up, making me think of like a whole song idea or like a concept or whatever it is, and like um if you're doing like the same thing, like that was like one of the things, like I was like when I at the end of the touring, we'd been on tour for like 4 months straight, and so I was like, what? I was like, if I write songs right now, all I'm gonna write about are like, oh, I'm running late for the next flight, or like, oh, I'm just in an Uber, like, what am I gonna write about that? That's so boring. But I think it's just good to like keep things interesting in life too, like that's also like for me as a person more fun. So if I'm having fun, like that good energy is gonna come across in the music a lot more.
Exactly. And I understand that you have your debut solo album. It's out later this year, sometime soon. So can you tell me a little bit about what the process has been like working on that?
Um, it's been an ongoing process. Honestly, it keeps changing. It's like, sometimes it's just I've kind of at this point it's kind of like I'm just writing a lot of songs and different songs and stuff, and like as things come up, like as different songs like are written and stuff, it changes the vibe of the album. And I don't know, I've been keeping it just open, and like the more stuff that happens, the more songs I come up with, it's kind of shaping the project a little bit more. And but then there's also been certain times where I've been like, okay, this is the project, because I have like, I think most artists have like a little archive of songs that are done that they haven't released, and like for me, I have like a really large one of those. So I have like, I don't know, probably like 40 fucking songs that are just done. So I keep coming up with new stuff, and I'm like, oh shit, this is it's like I can't really say that it was like a little sit down and make a project thing like that. It's really just been like like accumulating songs over time. Such a weird word. I don't know why that that word popped in my head, but yeah, it's just been like writing songs over like the past year and a half.
hmm Yeah, I mean, you hear about that all the time with artists who make dozens of songs just to narrow it down to that 10 song or 12
Yeah,
song or 14 song track list. And it seems like you're an artist that likes
yeah,
to work like that.
yeah. I mean, I like and I also like I like thinking of music like, oh, this would be cool for like a project, and like I like thinking like in terms of an album and stuff, rather than just like songs and random songs and stuff. But yeah, and I like everything to have like a sort of everything to tie together if it's gonna be attached, in a project. But
Exactly.
yeah, just I kind of like whatever, like whatever is kind of inspiring me at the moment.
Yeah, like a project gives you that platform to hold a listener for more than just song by song, but rather like a conjunction of all those different tracks all together.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
mhm. So you mentioned this a little bit earlier, how you met Playboi Carti, and I've read about this, that you're really interested in fashion. Where did that start from?
Literally just I don't know. I've always kind of just been into that, like, and I mean, I'm not really like into like fucking, what brand is what and all of that. I just literally, um, I just like, I have like a kind of like, I just like things that look, cool to me. I don't know. It's really like basic in the sense of like, if I was like a little kid or something, like going somewhere, like I'm not thinking about it. I'm just like, oh, that looks cool. Oh, that's good. Oh, that I'm like drawn to certain colors and different like designs and stuff. And like so whenever if I'm looking for clothes and stuff, I'm not really like, oh, this brand is really hot right now. Like I'm not really drawn to it like that. I'm just drawn to like cool clothes, and like just like it's my personal taste, I guess. Um, and like, you know, and that was something though that it was funny, like when I first met Playboi Carti and stuff. Um, he's like really into the fashion world, so um, you know, right away he was like eyeing my jacket, and he was like, "Yo, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, blah blah blah," and I'm like, you know, I think I was wearing like this like Louis Vuitton jacket or something, but I was like, "Oh, but it's like not real, it's fake," you know, like I was wearing like this fake Louis Vuitton jacket when we met and shit, and I was like, "What's that?" And then, like, he's like, "I don't know what he was wearing. He was wearing some weird like designer and shit." But it was funny because like both of us are like very into sort of punk rock vibes and like fashion and stuff, which is it's like weird to, you know, two rappers to be into like punk rock and fashion. It's like funny. Like we both like appreciated each other's style like right away, which was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I mean, yeah, the one person, when I did see that punk rapper description, the other person I thought of immediately was Playboi Carti. You think of his album Die Lit and the whole artwork that went with that. So I think it's natural that you two guys are hit it off right away.
And it's so weird, man. Like it's really funny because we did Siggy Said Light before the album was like even in was even started and shit. So like we met and we like I think we had done I ran into him, you know, funny enough, at a Louis Vuitton fashion show randomly. Like I didn't even know I was gonna be there. But I ended up being there and like running into him. We were talking more about the track and what's it called? Actually, we were talking about because his album had dropped at that point. But like, yeah, it's funny. I didn't even know he was working on like the artwork behind that album. When I saw that, I was like, ah, dude, like come on, like that's so. Of course, we have a song together. You know, I was like, that's so me. Like I would totally do like some artwork like that, and then, you know, it's very like I don't know. It's very like we just have like similar tastes. Like you know, we like you know we're like friends. You know, so it makes sense. But I remember like when he was working on that album too. Like I went down to Florida for like a couple days and stuff, and like hung out with him and Pierre in the studio. And like uh, I remember they were writing like a couple songs that actually ended up being on the record. They were doing it's like the song like Bring That Money Home, Daddy Waiting for It. I forget what that song's called. And then they had just written R.I.P. And like I remember they played that in the studio, and I was with like my friends that he's my manager too, so I was with him, and we were both like hanging out with them in the studio, and he played R.I.P. and I was just like, yo, this is ridiculous. Like this is so like just like it's just so like my stuff like right vibe and it was like that similar energy. That was like a really cool collaboration because it really did like we were both like really on similar like creative waves at the time and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that. I know exactly what songs you're talking about. I think that's Old Money you were talking about, and then obviously R.I.P. You know, when you hear that intro a long time on that album, then you hear R.I.P. come on. I mean, it happened to me too. I was jarred that first time I heard that beat. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the intro on the album too. I think that's one of the things I said like after a song, like after the album. I was like, dude, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like that intro is so hard. That's like I remember that was like my favorite part about you know, it's like when you hear a song and you're like going through like a certain time period and you listen to a song over like the first time I got that record like in Europe for the first time, like before I was on tour with 6ix9ine, and I was like recording a video in Paris, and like that they dropped the album and stuff. I remember listening to that song over and over again, and it's like I love that though. Like when there's a song that brings you to a certain time period in your head, like that's my favorite. That's my favorite shit about music. I love it.
And it's crazy. I mean, that song literally has the same thing for me. That was the one I picked off too. So I guess similar taste right there. But
Yeah, there you go.
speaking about fashion, also, just is there anything in terms of like the fashion world that you might want to branch off and do a little in there? Is there any like idea that you might want to start designing your own shirts or anything like that?
Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, I'm down with everything. Like, it would, but with fashion stuff, it's just like, like I'd be down to do like, how like certain rappers would go like walk the runway. I don't know if I'm pretty enough for that shit, but I'm down. I'm awaiting my invitation. So word to the fashion industry. I'm awaiting that. But like that shit would be kind of cool just to be in that world. And like as far as like designing stuff, like to collaborate with someone, that would be huge. Like I just know myself. I wouldn't make the time to make stuff by myself. You know what I mean? Like I could design shirts and come up with ideas, and I love doing that stuff. It's a similar creative process to music, but I know like it would be so much more fun to like team up with someone or like team up with like a company that I like, that I know is going to get like ideas I have made in a proper way and made in a cooler way, like, and it's cool. Like, like I have, what's it called? Like some of my favorite brands like are like Machino, like, Joy Rich, those two, like I know people over at both those companies, but, I'm just right now, I'm just so focused on the music and like, I'm working on so many different things. I don't really have the time right now, but like, if there was like certain people that were hyped on a collaboration, that'd be great.
Exactly. You mentioned, so you have your album that you've been working on that. You have all these tour dates you just did. You're even scheduled to perform at Rolling Loud Festival in LA later this year. Just as we end this up, where is your head at right now as we're starting to come to the close of 2018?
I don't really like hype about like the next few steps and stuff because I got we just finished up a couple music videos that we're gonna drop soon that are like really, kind of like what I was saying earlier, like the sort of reckless side of just really like unfiltered presentation of myself. But some crazy videos that we did with our friends that are like the guys who do all the 6ix9ine videos and stuff. And so those are going to be dropping, and I know those are going to be like a big thing for me. So I'm excited about that, and just finishing up some other new music. But yeah, I'm in a great place, man. Like it was a great year for me. It was like getting some momentum and getting going on everything was huge, and it's been I've been doing music for a long time, so I don't take any of that shit for granted. So it was really like it was a good one.
Well, Jack, thank you so much. I had so much fun doing this.
Thank you for having me.
And definitely,
absolutely.
I know you just got off all those tours, but if you're going on another one and you come through Philly, I'll definitely make sure to go out to that show.
100%, man. I'm sure I'll be over there soon.
Again, a big thank you to Jack for coming onto the show. I have links down below to all of his social medias and his latest track, Siggy Said Light with Playboi Carti, as well as keep in mind he has that debut album coming up later this year, as well as his performance at Rolling Loud in Los Angeles. If any of you guys are out there on the West Coast, that's coming up later this year as well. And with that, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Anything Goes with Jack and Neill podcast. As always, you can find this on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, basically wherever you listen to podcasts, this is there. So go check that out on your favorite platform. Subscribe to it as well to catch the Jack and Neill sports and music podcasts that are updated throughout the week with interviews by sports and music writers discussing everything in those two genres. Also, this is updated fairly recently now, more than once a week that I used to have it episodes just come and go, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JacksonNeill20. Links down below for those as well, to catch up to date with all of the latest episodes and all other additional bonus content I post on there. So thank you so much for listening. I'll see you all next time.